Yeah, of course, I'm a Protoss player, so I may be a little bit biased, but from the stats and stuff I've seen, Protoss is currently not even doing very well. I think they're actually the weakest race as far as the three races in StarCraft go. So for them to nerf Psystorm, I mean, yeah, units do clump up better in StarCraft 2, but it actually wasn't like a game-breaking mechanic. I think there was counters to Psystorm and like EMP and just all sorts of stuff that can pretty much counteract High Templars. So I was really surprised to see that one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and brush that off my shoulder and move on to the next one, which is actually one of the first buffs Protoss has actually gotten, and that is going to be the life and shield values for the cannon has gone from 125 both to 150 both. So it has both 150 shields and armor, or not armor, 150 armor. That'd be pretty sweet, but 150 health rather. And I definitely think they need to do that. Cannons were so fragile in StarCraft 2. Again, I'm a Protoss player, but seriously, if you had like 5 cannons, 5 Hydralisks would just kill it easily. So they really weren't serving their role, which was to be some sort of defense. And so that just wasn't happening, I think. So I agree with this change. I do not know about you, though, HD.
Static defense buff all around, I think it's a good idea for what Blizzard is trying to accomplish, and that is, of course, I don't know, buffing static defenses, because you gotta admit they kind of suck.
That is absolutely true. Static defenses are, I think, one of the reasons why StarCraft 2 games are so short, because you can't really build up your defense very well. And so they buffed pretty well. We'll get to the Zerg defense here soon. And so I'm just going to go ahead and move on to that. Broodlord, damage has been decreased from 25 to 20. You're a Zerg player, so I'm going to let you man the harpoon, so to speak, on that one.
Well, thank you very much for the harpoon, Husky, but I think that this was probably a necessary change because Broodlords are, let's face it, they're a bit overpowered. Once you get those out, they are just the king of air to ground, and I don't know if this is the exact change they needed because the real overpowering thing about the Broodlord was not the damage, but rather really how they mess up the enemy AI on the ground. For example, Marines, forcing them to shoot the Broodlings, and number 2, not allowing the Marines to get in range of the Broodlords. So, I don't know if it's the right change, but at least it's a nerf to one of the best air-to-ground siege units right now.
Okay, I will just say I think what they need to nerf is either their broodling mechanic or the amount of HP they have, because they have 225 HP, which I believe is way more than the Guardian, plus everything about the Broodlord is better than the Guardian ever was. And honestly, Guardians were still used in high-level play in StarCraft 1, so I'm kind of surprised to see them buffed so much compared to the Guardian. I mean, of course, it is a different game. We always have to keep that in mind. But I think the role that the Broodlord, there we go, plays is still fairly strong, and so are still fairly comparable to what the Guardian played. So I'm just surprised to see them so strong, and so I agree with some sort of nerf. But again, I don't know if it was the exact right one. Okay, so Roach, organic carapace no longer grants bonus regeneration to unburrowed roaches. So basically, when you pay for that upgrade, you're not going to be regenerating faster above ground. What do you think about that one, HD?
Alright, first I have to mention that, of course, the Roach does have 3 upgrades from the Roach Warren. One upgrade is the ability to move while burrowed. The second Roach upgrade is a speed bonus. And the third one, which I have never ever used, is the upgrade to basically increase regeneration both above and below ground. So, like you said, the nerf was that now it only increases regeneration below ground. I don't know what they're doing with this upgrade because no one ever used it in the first place. I don't think, at least I never used it, and now it's just been further nerfed, so it only regenerates faster below ground. I don't know. I don't think it's that. I don't think it was. It's a worthless upgrade. So now it's even more worthless.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is make roaches a lot more micro-intensive, where you actually have to burrow them to do it. But like you said, people weren't really using that upgrade nearly as much as they could be, or even, I don't even know if they should, because it's not that great of an upgrade, especially once you calculate in the cost and the research time and all that. So, yeah, I can definitely agree with that. Kind of a weird nerf that I don't think anyone's really going to complain about too hard. And I'm trying to figure out my best course of action here, so we're just going to move my rook there. That's always a good move. And Spinecrawler, damage has been increased from 20 plus 10 armored to 25 plus 5 armored. And when I say it like that, guys, it means if they're going against a armored unit, the second number is how much additional damage they do to that type. And I'll just take that one first. I think that it's good that they're getting rid of the hard counters, like we were saying before, so it does more damage overall, but less damage to the units they're strong against. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff like that, those numbers really getting lower and lower as more and more patches come out. And eventually, I honestly think they'll get rid of it and use a new system. That's just my guess, but maybe they can make this system work. I don't want to totally bash it because it's worked out a lot better than I had originally thought it would. So I just think that the change really is just going to make them do more damage to more units, and they'll still actually do the same damage to armored units. So I think that's good. Again, static defense buff. As long as people aren't always beating you with spine crawlers, I think that, whoa, my thing is freaking out here. Hopefully that doesn't kill my queen because I didn't mean to put it there. I think any static defense buff is good just because it'll drag the games out a little bit longer.
I completely agree with that.
All right, well, that was pretty easy. Let's see. I want to kill that pawn, and I hope it doesn't kill me.
Hey!
All right, so... Oh, you're in check, boy! All right, so... Oh, and also attack period decreased from 2.2 to 1.6. So they actually attack faster and do more damage to more units. So, again, I think that's good. I think that static defenses should always be strong because not only are you sacrificing a drone, but of course the build time plus the cost and all that. I think it's whatever. I think that's fine. Okay, so Spore Crawler. The cost has been decreased from 100 to 75. What do you say about that, Sir HD, as that is the last patch note?
Sounds like they just made the Spore Crawler a missile turret at a missile turret cost, although of course it is sacrificing a drone. And I think that's good because I barely ever use Spore Crawlers since I mostly just use Hydras to defend against air. And of course, like you said, they're buffing static defenses, which I think is a great idea since most games do end pretty quickly.
Yep, and Spore Crawlers don't get as much use as Spine Crawlers simply because they can only shoot air, and there is, of course, more ground units than air units. So I say buff the little guys because 100, I mean, you're basically paying 150 minerals for a Spore Crawler plus the lost economy from the drones, so I definitely think it was a good choice, and I guess I will kill this with my bishop. Alright, so one thing I want to mention is I'm going to try and find that page really quick. I did have it open. Is that someone was posting stats, I believe, from 2 patches ago. I don't think we found the exact source of the numbers. And again, I just want to emphasize the numbers may not be completely reliable, but it was from Team Liquid, and people have been discussing it quite a lot.